Welcome! I'm Esther Buerki, the author of Living Without Fear and the co-publisher of the Amazon best-selling Inspired Journeys. Get in touch with me if you want to start living without fear or even writing your book. And please share this podcast with a friend who you know needs to hear this episode. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, write a short review and rate it on your favorite podcast platform with a lot of stars if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your support. This truly means a lot to me. Today, I'd love to talk about the negativity which is around us, even when we banished it from our own lives. And I can give you a lot of examples from my life. For example, I came home the other day from a beautiful swim, which made me so happy. And I found my elder son, he will be 20 in half a year, in the kitchen, preparing some food for himself. I started talking with him. I asked him how he was doing, and he answered my question on his state in a kind manner. But the longer the conversation went on, it got into a negative direction. He started complaining about things. He made fun of what I said, and with every negative sentence, my mood started to drop. My beautiful state of mind vanished. And I started getting angry with myself. Why aren't you able to get over this negativity spread by your older son? I asked myself. It's not worth it. I told myself. It was his mood, and I didn't have to take it on me. But this is so easy to say, but so hard to change in this moment. Then I literally felt this anger spreading in my stomach. What helps me a lot in those kind of situations and conversations with my elder son is to leave the room and go elsewhere. Breathe and start a friendly conversation with myself. Yes, you heard right. I start talking to myself. I tell myself that this little child in me has been hurt so many times by my parents when I was small. It often got shut down because my parents were angry with themselves or with one another. And they couldn't tell me that their anger hasn't anything to do with me, but only with themselves. So today, when my elder son does this with me, this small child in me gets triggered again. This small child in me feels hurt. It feels misunderstood. It feels not seen, not heard, and not loved. And instead of blaming my elder son and talking to him negatively, what I often did some years ago, I withdraw and I connect with this inner child who needs a lot of love and understanding. At the moment, my elder son is the biggest trigger and also the best teacher to heal my traumas, because he gives me the chance daily, really daily, to look into myself, be with myself, and heal myself. It's different with my parents, who are both 88 years old. I developed so much more compassion for them in the past year so that they trigger me less. It's mainly my mother who is terrible to listen to because she is most of the times in this negative spiral. She complains about everything in her life, and I have to help her to recognize the positive things in her life. When I'm not too tired, it's easy for me to say to her, "I'm sorry, you have this pain in your stomach, and I understand it's difficult for you to enjoy every single day you're here on this earth. But I guess there are other beautiful things in your life which give you joy. What are they?" When I'm tired or busy with some own challenges, it's harder for me not to mingle her negative feelings with mine. It's more difficult to tell myself it's my mother's life and my mother's state of mind. She has to deal with herself. And I see it's so difficult for her to come out of this negativity. Sometimes I tell her, "Look, it's so wonderful that we can be together, you, my father, and me, and we can spend this beautiful time together. We can laugh, we can play a game, and we can enjoy each other's company." Last Saturday, my 4-year-old younger brother came to visit them when I was there too. And I immediately felt when he entered the living room, his state of mind tended to be more negative than positive. But I told myself, I won't get contaminated and I will preserve my beautiful state. My dear brother didn't make it easy for me because every question I asked him about himself, he made kind of fun of it. He didn't want to answer my questions in an honest way. I realized once again that our family system has always functioned this way. We always made fun of each other. We didn't have compassion for each other. And we always laughed at each other in various constellations. My father, my brother, and I laughed at my mother. All three laughed at me, or two family members against the two other ones. I'm so grateful I interrupted this pattern. And when my younger brother left, and when I went home too later and started rethinking about our family pattern, I decided to send a lot of compassion to my younger brother. He's still suffering of not being seen, heard, and understood. Going back to our topic, the negativity, you might say, there are so many negative people around, and it's difficult for you not to get triggered. Yes, of course, there are all these people, and yes, it's difficult to stay in a beautiful state. When these people speak, you can feel it right away. And sometimes you cannot leave the room, but what you can always do is to have compassion for them Recognize this hurt child in them. See this child who didn't get a lot of understanding and love. And when they are talking to you, it's not about you, it's about them. They cannot get over themselves yet. They are still trapped within themselves and cannot see you. It's so sad, but if you can be more compassionate with yourself, you can have more compassion for others. And it's up to you. Every day, you can decide that you're going to have a positive day. And if you get into a difficult situation, you can always decide to make the best of it. It's your own decision. No one else can decide for you. You are the master of your emotions. Thank you, dear listener, for spending your precious time with me and being open to try things differently than you learned as a child. And I cannot repeat it enough. In case you feel worthless and nobody seems to like you, I tell you, you're amazing. I love you. And you are a gift to everyone who crosses your path. And please tell yourself these sentences over and over again. Have an amazing day and talk to you next week.